how do you go back to your organization and become more agile than you used to? So like every journey, it starts with small steps. But we've seen that the base for this is basically continuous tracking. Know what you are doing and what your competitors are doing, or at least try to in real time or every time, right? So it doesn't have to be weekly reporting because, as Gadi would attest, the beverage category is very seasonal, right? You don't have to do a weekly competitive report on a category that nobody's putting any money into at the winter time, right? Probably. So basically, this is the base, right? Know or have the attention to understand what you're doing, what your competitors are doing. After that, we would nail it by strategic planning. First of all, like in the when we have like a new year coming, but also try and see what are the alternatives. Not only plan for different scenarios. You sit down and you plan for Q1, and Q4 probably doesn't really unfold the way you thought it would be. So have different scenarios of what you're supposed to do if something doesn't go according to plan, and adjust it every quarter. This should be supervised by the CMO, but the ambassador who's actually performing that would be like somebody from the brand team. The tactical part would be pre-campaign planning, but also post-mortem of campaigns. What we did with Fanta, as Gadi can say, we sat together and we planned their campaign. Right? That's basically kind of a collaboration. Inject data in your into your pre-campaign planning, and try and measure it the best way in a business KPI oriented fashion after that campaign. After you actually do or put all of these pieces together, or at least have some of them, this is basically what we saw as the base of being able to actually adjust your marketing strategy on the fly. After you have at least achieved some of these components. And this is something that is kind of a result of, I can tell you, a lot of hard work, and it's really hard for big corporates to make these changes. And you don't have to do everything at once. It's one small step at a time. If you don't have any reporting functions right now, just start doing it, right? If you don't have to deep dive into a weekly reporting, but make sure that somebody does monthly reporting. So I know what you're probably thinking. That's really, really nice and it looks cool on a slide, but I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the manpower, I don't have the data, I don't have the please complete what you don't have, right? Because we all don't have something. Budget is always a constraint. Here are some organizational tips of how to impact your agile marketing strategies. First of all, I think that our key success factor was an organizational champion such as Gadi. It could be a digital leader, or it could be somebody else that you feel could be championing this in the organization. You need an agent for the change. Basically, you're changing a mindset of Coca-Cola's, how old is Coca-Cola? Ancient, right? Very ancient. You need an agent for that change. Somebody has to be the champion. The second thing that I would say is that brand managers or the brand or the P&L owners have so much on their plates. They can't be expected to do the reporting, the strategic planning, the pre and post, and the agile marketing. The brand marketers should be the orchestrators and not the operators. There are many different operators, if you look around you, that are able to execute on these different activities. Your agency partners, media agency, creative agency, outside partners, such as ourselves, analysts, consumer insights managers, sometimes social media directors, but it shouldn't all fall on one person, or it just won't happen. This is a digital transformation for what is usually a very old organization. It takes time, and it needs to be accessed or directed the right way. The third thing is, if it's not attached to a business KPI, nobody cares about, right? So, though we did talk about frequency, reach, stuff like that, but I think that the most important, or at least for me, KPI that we were able to, or we enabled Coca-Cola to achieve is the brand lift. Because this is what they care about, right? Another metric could be market share. Another metric could be to optimize their media spend. But if it's not something that has to do with the business KPIs, people won't care enough about it. So these are kind of our, I would say, tips or tricks into how to unlock this very big yet unachievable buzzword of Agile.